Welcome back to Race by Rain. My name is Stormie, and today we are going to be talking about all the should I do something about this? Is this a problem? Why does that look like that? And to just not be so concerned about growing your own food, that it's not that difficult, even though it may seem like it is. One thing that I notice often as I've been recording my backyard garden is there's quite a lot of areas that are not necessarily aesthetically pleasing to everybody. There are areas where there's a lot of overgrown, there's a lot of weeds, there's areas that I really should pay attention to and either remove a bunch of weeds from there or go through and sow more plants because one of my seedlings have died. A lot of areas that may look neglected to some, but for me, it's just part of my garden. I'm not super concerned about a lot of areas that a lot of people might go into a panic mode when they see that either in their own garden. That could be plants that have a certain disease or plants that most likely don't look like plants that they've seen online. There's a lot of times where we're comparing what we are doing with what other people are doing, which is not always a bad thing. That's how we learn, that's how we grow, and we are inspired and motivated by others. But a lot of times that also brings on the self-doubt and, well, mine doesn't look like theirs, so it must not be right. So I just want to show you today some of the areas that may not look the best, but I'm not worried about it. And then some areas where, yeah, might be a little bit worried, so I'll keep my eyes on it. But for the most part, the garden is thriving. Its plants want to grow. And right now I'm forcing them to grow in areas that they're not necessarily used to growing in or environments that they're not used to growing in. Great example are tomatoes. Tomatoes are a vine plant, and so when they naturally grow out in the wild, they're going to sprawl along the ground. Compared to right now, I've got these vertical trellises, and that's what I'll be training them to grow up. So yeah, they're not going to be the happiest, but they'll be fine. Today is the first day in some time where it has not been cloudy and rainy. I'm not going to complain because we went a few weeks where we didn't have any rain, and so I'd have to come out every single day and water, which I don't mind that. That's not a bad thing, but listen, I'm happy that I finally have some sunshine and I can be outside, get a little bit of a sunburn. I'm okay with this, but this area of concern is going to be my table underneath my awning, right next to my chicken coop. As you can see, it just has a bunch of trash on there. There's some decor, there's random seed packs. I don't know if those have seeds in them or not. And this area, I definitely need to get cleaned up. There's also underneath here, there's two, I want to say that those are zucchini, but time will tell because I have no idea what those are. Those are from my chickens. Yeah, this area definitely needs cleaned up. Doesn't look the best, but it'll be alright. I also have this bag of straw. I definitely need to get that closed up. I've had in the past where a little rodent has crawled into a bag open just like that and made a nice little home for itself. I have this mint right here. This is just a chunk of soil that had some mint growing in it. I tore it out of another bed because I didn't want it in the bed. Threw it over here. Now it is thriving. I should probably do something about that. I'm not going to. This is a walkway between a few of my beds. This looks like could be nice lush green grass. It is in fact not. There is a bunch of creeping Charlie and then also plantain, I think this is called. This is a medicinal herb. If you get a bug bite while you're out in the garden, you can chew up this leaf. I know it sounds really gross, but hey, if times are hard, you can chew up this leaf and apply that to the affected area. Wait a few minutes and it should take away the sting. Also, look at that cute little dog. She's so cute. Other areas of concern. I have some carrots growing along there, but I also have some grass growing through intermixed with my carrots. I should do something about that. I'm probably not. I originally planted 2 seeds here and 2 seeds right there of cucumbers. As you can see, only one side has came up. Should I be concerned? I was concerned. So what I did probably 5 days ago or so is I went through and I sowed um, 3 more sets of seeds right here, and whatever comes up, that's what I'll go with. I do have a problem with roly-polies. They like to eat my seedlings, so that's why. And I have that along basically all of my arch trellises. Here's another example where I went through and I sowed seeds just right here. I've got 2 coming up right there. And these may look kind of tall and leggy. They're not. They'll be totally fine. They're just kind of small right now. Once these start growing up, they'll do what they need to do. So another area I should probably be concerned. There's a lot of overgrowth over here. There could be snakes in there. I'm not worried about it. Still gonna walk right through it. Area that I probably should be a little bit not concerned, but just be aware of is some of this kale is looking a little limp. Just this variety. I think this is the was it Ragged Jack? Let's see if I have a tag. The Russian Red. My apologies. Um, I think it might just be because these leaves are a little bit wider than the other ones and not as firm. Because my dinosaur kale is looking very good. So we'll keep an eye on this plant. This seems to be the only one that's having somewhat of an issue. But if anything, I'll just harvest it and have kale for lunch today. So now I will show you an area that I do have a concern with. And I'm still trying to diagnose what exactly is going on here. So these are some of my pole beans that I've got growing right here. If you can see, it looks like something almost got onto the leaves and is destroying them. Um, Unfortunately, it's with a lot of them. Not all of them. Like these ones look okay, but some of these just do not look too hot. So yeah, this could be for a number of reasons. The one reason I'm really hoping it's not is a pesticide damage. I don't use any chemicals out in my garden other than natural, like fish emulsion, fertilizer. I don't use anything else, so this could be either a neighbor was spraying for weeds in their yard and it drifted over into mine. It could just be, I would say, bad soil also, but I'm not seeing it in anything else. It's just the beans. So I need to do a little bit more research on that. All right, here's another area of concern. This is a sun gold tomato. As you can see, that's basically what they're supposed to be looking like. And then this one right here, it is completely bent over. It's because it is broken in 2 different spots. It's broken right here and right there. So this is a lost cause basically, because even if this part broke off, um, there's no leaves underneath to be able to photosynthesize. So this plant is just done for, which is okay. Like I've got plenty of them. If I really wanted to, I would go to a nursery and support somewhere and purchase another sun gold, pop it in there. I'll probably end up doing that, but like I said, not the end of the world. What is not concerning is how well this garlic is doing. Like they are huge, massive, massive plants. They're doing so good. Come on, garden dog. Another area that I'm not concerned about. So this is kind of funny. These were green onions that I planted 4 years ago. They've been in the same spot for 4 years, and every year I just let them do this. The bees absolutely love them. What this is this plant has gone to seed fully, and then these are the little flower pods that will produce the seeds. I should save the seeds on these, but honestly, I just leave them for pollinators because they seem to really like it. All right, another area that I'm not super concerned about. So we had a storm a couple days ago, and there was a huge branch. Well, that branch had landed perfectly on this broccoli plant, and as you can see, it split it right there. I'm not worried. This will continue to grow. This will either die off completely or it'll send out another shoot. But it's looking fine. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. This is an area that is on the far back corner of the garden. This is just a bunch of weeds and moss, which I really do like the moss. This is my compost bin. Not gonna lie, a lot of the stuff that we don't want to see gets thrown back here. Last year we had a pumpkin growing, so the pumpkin came all the way here. It was cool, it was cool, but it was just a weedy mess. I'm gonna leave it because I'm not very concerned. This right here, this was in one of my original perennial beds. I really lost it to, dill and mint and all that stuff. So right now I'm just kind of letting it do its thing this year. And then next year I've got a pretty big plan for that. So right now there's some thistle in there that I am definitely concerned with. I'll take those out. But then there's also these plants right here are poppies, which I absolutely love. There's some sunflowers in here. There's also cilantro. Now with all these, what I'm going to do is, when I say all these, I'm talking about the dill. I'll go through and I'll just harvest this. I've already done it once and I've got them drying in my house. It's just giving me free dill plants. The one thing I don't want to happen is for this to go to seed again, because then I'm just fighting it every single year. Another weedy pathway, not worried about. Just gives it a nice little cushion. Okay, so this one, I'm not really sure how to put this. I am concerned, but I'm not going to do a whole lot about this. So this is pink celery, and as you can see, some of the leaves are really dead, but some of them are doing good. So this is what matters to me. Some of them look really nice, so I'm not going to panic over these. If they all start dying, well, that just means I won't have celery this year. Here's another example. All of my celery kind of looks like this, where some of it looks really good and then some of it does not look good. This is a tomato plant right here. Which kind is this? This is a Cherokee Purple. So as you can see, not the biggest plant right now. I planted these out fairly small. The leaves are looking all right. They look much better than they did. This leaf right here, it's got a little bit of damage. I'm not worried about that. It doesn't look like disease. It looks like it probably got a little too wet, and that's what happened there. But other than that, it looks really good. This tomato right here has some holes in the foliage. I'm not too concerned about that, just because the foliage in the center is looking really good. It looks really green and really fresh. The ones on the outside, yeah, those don't look the best, but in here, those look really good. So I'll just keep an eye on that. A lot of these tomato plants look like that right now, and I believe it's just because I planted them out when they were so small. One thing I'm not concerned with is look how lovely that is. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Nature is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. This right here, all these little teeny tiny green dots, these are clover. Um, my wife went through and put some clover seed down so that I could have clover walkways, not creeping Charlie walkways. hmm. As you can see, the onions look like a tangled mess. This was because we had a storm a few days ago. I am not concerned about these. The only thing that I was a little bit concerned with was some of these were hanging on top of my smaller tomatoes. You can see this one's kind of curved. This is fine. This will straighten back out as it continues to grow. But that was the one thing I was keeping my eye on, making sure that the greenery from these onions were not laying on these tomatoes. But these will pop back up once they start growing a little bit more. Another area where I'm not very concerned with, you can see in this pepper plant right here, it's got some yellowing leaves. What matters is these leaves on the top. These are looking very good. They look very healthy and green. Um, these eventually will just die off and they will fall right here. So not too worried about that. This is kind of the back corner, another back corner of the garden. This, I just raked a bunch of leaves from the fall time. Does it look the best? No, no, it does not. There's a bunch of random plants growing out of them. And then it's mulched, and then that looks decent. Back behind there is some creeping Charlie. Um, not super concerned with it, but I'll definitely have to go through eventually and weed that. I think one thing that is very important about being resilient in the garden is that the plants just want to grow. And at times, those plants don't want to grow, and that's all right also. As gardeners and farmers, we have to be able to be flexible with what that plant wants and needs. We're the ones who are supplying it with good nutrition, we are the ones who are supplying it with sunlight and with water. Um, so when we're not providing those things for it, that is when they start to, throw a little fit, or they start wilting, or whatever the case may be. So it's important for us to be visual, walk your garden often. I come out here probably 2 or 3 times a day, and I work a full, I put in anywhere from 10 to 12 hours Monday through Thursday. So I totally understand. Sometimes it's hard to do. My weekends are really sacred to me. That's when I'm able to come out here and be present with the garden. The garden's best medicine is the gardener. So we're the ones who are to address any issues and to help support this plant life. I also understand where, especially if you're starting out gardening, there's so much to it. There's so many different plants, they all grow differently. It may be your first time ever seeing how a tomato grows, or how peppers grow, or a turnip, or whatever it may be. So we're cramming our brains with all of the knowledge that we possibly can. The one thing that I highly recommend is looking into just basic botany and what the plant cycle is, learning what photosynthesis is and why plants need that, which plants need that more than others, but also learning to not be completely overwhelmed with the space that you have. It's very easy to get knowledge overload, and once you have everything in, you kind of go into a panic mode of, oh no, now what? You've learned what to do up until this point. There are so many people out there. There are so many books out there that have all of the knowledge, have a bunch of information for you, but also just connecting with other people is super helpful. I will say the biggest thing that I have really taken into how to be a gardener is trial and error, learning from mistakes. Granted, those mistakes sometimes will take, 9 months to recover from. If I plant my peppers a certain way and it's the wrong way, or if I think, okay, I'm going to try this and that ends up being a failure, well, then sometimes you can't redo it, especially if you live uh, in a zone that doesn't have a very long growing season or a very short window, then it's hard to start over during that year. But there's always next year. So never get up on that. Learned a lot. I still have so much more to learn. This year I'm doing a lot of trial and error also. But also I've taken everything that I have learned from prior years and applying it to this garden. Also, I don't know about you, but my family really enjoys being in the garden. My teenager may not so much, but my spouse does, which that is super important to me. It's important to her as well. So her and I spend a lot of time out here together. It's became a very calming, relaxing area for us, even when we're sweating and putting in a lot of hard work and effort into the garden. Um, the garden is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. It can be a place where you can come and relax and seek comfort. It can be a place where you go and completely just check out and zone out and forget about the world and what's going on there. It could be a place where you go and you learn, or you read your book, or you drink your morning coffee or afternoon tea, whatever it may be, but it's yours. And so make it yours. I know I've talked about this in the past, but for me personally, it has helped so much with my mental health. My garden is a place where I can come and ground my feet into the soil and I can reconnect with nature. I spend a lot of my working day or working time inside with, really bright fluorescent lighting and working with a lot of people. My job is I work with some amazing people and they come from all walks of life. And so I get to hear, about their culture and what a garden means to them, if it means anything to them, and I can get to learn from that. So when I'm at home, it's my quiet place, but also it is where I have so much excitement and I have a lot of joy out here. And I think a lot of people, especially in today's day, it's really hard for us to connect with something like that. It doesn't have to be the garden, but I think that if you're watching this, it might be the garden for you. It's very easy to sit on the couch and doom scroll. I do it often. I really try not to, but um, I find myself lacking a lot when that happens. My brain goes into a rot mode and I'm just taking on a bunch of information or um, data and whatnot that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't bring me any actual joy. All it's doing is creating this docile and silent person. Um, and I see that. I'm not saying you can't doom scroll. We all do it. But definitely limit your time that you do that. I really try not to, other than recording and taking photos and videos and whatnot, I try not to bring my phone out to the garden and just sit here on my phone. Garden is not necessarily a phone free zone by any means, but it's a different space for me. It's where I don't have to look at what's happening around the world right now or what the government's going on or who got, you know, there or whatever it may be. Um, this is my sanctuary of safe. But also, not only that, it brings me food and some really good food too. Um, the tomatoes that I grow are the best tomatoes that I've ever had. The peppers that I grow are phenomenal. I have fresh potatoes that are growing in my ground right now. If you've ever had a fresh potato, it's a totally different texture. They're just so good. I've got cherry trees everywhere. I've got apple and peach trees, and that just brings me so much joy. And I wish everybody had apple and peach trees everywhere. It's a whole different vibe. But yeah, anyway, what I'm saying is grow a garden. It's good for not only your soul, but it's good for your body. And, another thing that I really enjoy doing is getting on YouTube and getting inspired by other people. I love watching gardens in England and in Wales. They're just so magical. And I love that how they say compost. Compost. I love it. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things in my garden that were inspired by other gardeners or other homesteaders, and I think that's how we that's a community right there. We learn from each other and from what other people are doing and their mistakes and their wins. That's the big one. What are you doing that is successful that I can try in my own garden? So that's what we got going on here. But anyways, I could go on and on and on for days and days and days about how important the garden is and to not be overwhelmed when things are not going exactly how you had planned it. When you do garden, make sure that you're flexible. Make sure that if something does pop up, do your own research, look into it. Don't get discouraged because that is the easiest way to fall down and not get back up. Make sure that when you run into a problem, give it your best. Like even if it feels like there's no way that you're going to win. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you gain some sort of motivation from this video and you go outside and either plant something, go tend to something, or whatever you do, do not be afraid to get your hands dirty.